Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Jeremy S. from TTAG here, thetrutheaboutguns.com. We're going to do a quick field strip on the Kel-Tec CMR 30. First step, of course, make sure the gun is empty, and we actually want the bolt forwards in this case. We do want the hammer cock, safety on. Next step is taking out this pin. When it breaks in, I might be able to do this by hand, but right now it's relatively stiff, and it's easiest to push it out with some sort of a tool. Now the pin comes out, and this is loose. I'm going to extend the stock to allow this bottom receiver, lower receiver, whatever you call it, the actual polymer part, to come backwards and then down. And there it is, it comes right off the receiver. With this in hand, you can get in here to clean the hammer, some of the rails that the bolt rides on, make sure there's no gunk. This rimfire ammo is a little bit dirty, so we can clean it out and lube in there as appropriate. Now back to the upper, we can see the bottom of the bolt and the back of the recoil spring. What we're going to do is just draw it backwards until we can reach it with our finger. And now pull, pull, pull. And we're going to just keep pulling and pulling and pulling until we have to slide the stock back. Stock is extending, extending, extending all the way until the front of this spring thing here can actually slide out the back of the receiver. Now that we have this out, we can actually pull the stock off of the frame, and then this thing is pretty easy to take out by just turning it sideways and lifting it out of these rails. Now we have the whole spring guide rod assembly deal, the bolt itself, and all this good stuff out for cleaning and lubing. And it does have to stay pretty well lubed. I've noticed that this ammo obviously is very dirty. It dries out here on these rails, gunks up inside of the receiver. You might be able to see on camera how much brass and copper flecks and crap is in here. And these little rails where the bolt rides inside of the receiver, they need to be lubed. They get dried out and gunked with carbon pretty quickly, and the gun stops running. So it's got to be clean, it's got to be lubed. I found when it kind of starts hanging up on me, just adding a bit of lube to the rails here really made a big difference, and it ran for another 160 rounds before it started hanging up, and I had to add some more lube. So really that's the extent of it for field stripping. It's pretty quick and easy. Now we have access to the breech itself, to the barrel, to the barrel face and trunnion, whatever you want to call it, for cleaning. We can get down the bore pretty easily from back here, clean inside of the receiver, the rails on which the bolt rides, and then of course clean this thing because it does reciprocate back and forth inside of this aluminum housing. You can see it's just covered in brass and copper crap. This ammo just loves to flake off copper and brass. It's really dirty stuff. So clean and lube that, especially the bolt. You can take this apart and take the firing pin out and clean it if you want. Clean the extractor, make sure that it is free to wiggle. This one wiggles nice and easily. And then you can get inside of here and clean the rails inside of this stock so that it adjusts in and out nicely and smoothly. You can see where it locks on these guys. All right, I'm going to clean it a different time, but now let's put it back together. Of course, it's just the reverse of removal, as always. But this one's not the easiest gun to put back together. There's these little rails on either side of the chassis, and that of course goes inside of this. You want to grab it with your hand down near the bottom so you can align them both sides at the same time. It's a little bit of a trick because the fit is nice and snug. There you go, once you get both of them, it's going to slide, but we need it pretty far back still in order to put this back in. Now we're going to get the tabs on here back into the rails of the stock. There's a spring in here. I'm going to do it behind that spring to make it easy. There we go, that's in. Now I'll probably have to pull the stock back just a bit so I can drop this down into the receiver. There we go. That thing slides home. The bolt goes on its rails. These two things, you can see this one probably needs some lube. It's looking dry. It goes in. Stock goes in. And now that this is back in and together, the bolt is forwards, we can go ahead and put the lower receiver on. Start a little bit rearwards. This thing, of course, this tab needs to be behind that spring. That's what it actually compresses against. Push it up onto the receiver, forwards, and then drive that pin back through. There we go. Pins through, a little elbow grease. She's up and running. Test the function of the stock. See, it's fine. Locks. Perfect. We're back in business. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe if you would. We'll see you next time.